Good evening, Nigeria, and welcome to another edition of Electricity Town Hall, a program being sponsored by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, aimed at keeping consumers of electricity abreast of happenings in the nation's power sector. This program comes your way every Monday on the network service of Radio Nigeria at 7 o'clock in the evening. NERC is the regulator for the nation's power sector, interfacing with electricity generation companies known as GENCOs, the Transmission Company of Nigeria (TCN), and the distribution companies (DISCOs). I'm David Umur, your anchor. The Nigerian electricity supply industry (NERC) is the framework for electricity generation, transmission, and distribution in Nigeria. It's a critical sector that plays a vital role in Nigeria's economic development, fueling industries and improving the standard of living. However, the NERC faces ongoing challenges such as providing reliable and affordable power to a growing population. One area that has remained critical has been the distribution sector, where consumers are given electricity and in turn required to pay for services rendered, owing to issues surrounding electricity supply, consumption, bills, electricity theft, consumer protection, health and safety, and renewable energy. The federal government has introduced several initiatives geared towards protecting the consumer, while also providing the investor the enabling environment to get returns on their investment. Today we're discussing the current status of renewable energy integration in NERC, contributions of renewable energy to power generation capacity. These and more will be addressed tonight on Electricity Town Hall as we look at renewable energy in the Nigerian electricity supply industry (NERC). And tonight I have with me in the studio a Deputy Manager, Technical Regulation Division of the Commission, talking about Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, Engineer Mohammed Usman Garba. Welcome to our studio.
Thank you very much.
Also with me is a Senior Manager, Technical Regulation Division of the Commission, Dr. Najashi Barau Gafai.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen, and thanks for coming on the program tonight. Okay, before we move on, let's just establish some foundation here, talking about explaining some technical terms that will be used tonight. The conversation is about renewable energy. So when we say renewable energy, what exactly are we talking about in simple terms, Dr. Najashi?
So when we say renewable energy, we are talking about energy from sources that we might, if we might use this word, never finish, or that Mother Nature constantly...
Inexhaustible.
Thank you very much. So we are looking at things like hydro, the sunlight, because every day there is at least a certain level of sunlight that we get from Mother Nature. Even the waste that we generate as human beings. So these are basically the sources that are called renewable. They are renewable because we keep getting them back. Like you said, they are inexhaustible, and Mother Nature keeps giving us back. So in simple terms, that is what we mean when we say renewable energy.
Okay, and what is more like the benefit of this? Because in a country like Nigeria, where we already have hydroelectric dams like Kanji, can you talk about what potential this particular area holds before we begin to talk about the hydroelectric dams that we have?
Okay, so as you well know that we have quite a lot of hydro dams in the country that are used for generating power, such as the Kainji that you have said, Shiroro, and recently even Zingero. They tend to have some challenges. Somebody might be looking at, okay, why are we still having some of these issues with these renewable sources? So these large hydros tend to have issues when it comes to drought, because once the water level comes down, the amount of power that can be generated also reduces with that. And then you look at our population. Some of these hydros were built over a very long period of time, and the rate at which the population is growing and the economic activity is not keeping up with that. So these are some of the challenges that the government is trying to basically solve through the introduction of other sources, such as the renewables, basically the winds, the solar, and the biomass.
Okay, Doctor, one would think that with the abundant resources we have when it comes to hydroelectric dams like Kenji and Jeba that supplies electricity, if operated at full capacity, it should be able to serve our energy needs, and we might not even need an alternative source of energy. So how come, even with the presence of this hydroelectric dams like the Kenji and Jeba, how come we still have power problems, engineer?
You see, in Nigeria, we have large dams. We have large hydros. There are 5 in number: Dadinkowa, Kashimbila, Kainji, you have Shiroro, you have Zingero. So in terms of installed capacity, they contribute about 18%. But if you talk about their contribution in terms of generation, they contribute about 30% of our generation. So that is the current status of our generation mix in Nigeria.
Can it be upgraded if all things being equal? Can it operate far beyond that?
Yeah, most of these hydroelectric generation plants have expansion plan.
Okay.
Like if you go to Kainji, you find out that presently they are expanding on their capacity. If you go to some other power plant like Shiroro, like Jeba, they also have expansion plans to expand on present installed capacity of these renewable energy sources. If I say renewable, because most people, if you talk about renewable, their mind simply goes to the variable ones, that's solar and wind.
Okay.
But here we're talking about the non-variable ones, that's the large hydros. So we have installed capacity of about 2,700 out of the 14,000 megawatts. Yes, most of them have plans to expand.
How can this particular term or this particular alternative for energy supply help, let's say, my neighbor, Mama Nkechi, who runs a small shop in Ibadan and spends so much money on fuel for her generator? How can renewable energy help?
Okay, so thank you very much once again for that question. I can think of 2 or 3 ways that can help a small trader anywhere in the country, like Mama Nkechi, like you said, for example. First and foremost, probably she might be using a generator, fuel, petrol, and things like that. Definitely, the cost of running that generator is high. By starting just with few panels and what have you, she can drastically reduce her bill in terms of the amount of money she will spend on energy requirements for her business. And secondly, she will also be helping the environment because most of these fossil fuels tend to pollute the environment and things like that. Thirdly, also she can extend the hours of operation, because by the time she's getting a cheaper source of energy, definitely she can work overtime to try and meet up her targets. So yeah, it is a win-win. There is no how definitely she will be not getting
not break even from it.
Yes.
And engineer was quite agreeing with you when you were talking, like you want to add something to that.
Yeah, definitely. So in terms of the contribution of renewable energy to the development of the businesses, small businesses. So I'm looking at it in terms of the reduction in tariff, that's the cost. Because most of these renewable are being deployed directly to the rural communities in form of maybe mini grids or solar home systems. So cutting off the issue of investment in network. So definitely with time, and they also have less operational cost. So they are going to get it at cheaper rates or cheaper price. So that would also help significantly.
And talking about less or low operational costs, usually from the look of things, when you talk about panels, the initial cost of buying these solar panels, they're quite high, or aren't they? How can an ordinary person just afford it, in as much as the operational cost in the long run tends to be cheap, but the startup capital cost is quite on the high side?
This is a very key question because affordability is key. you have a situation where, if you have a situation whereby people cannot afford these systems, then as long as
the aim is defeated.
It is defeated, yes, rightly said. So the market is changing. There are lots of opportunities and lots of products being deployed by the players within the ecosystem. We have one product called Pay As You Go, whereby you don't have to make full upfront payment for the system. You can pay it in instrumental plan, kind of maybe 6 months, 1 year. So that reduces the cost. Secondly, the cost of the solar systems, basically from panels to inverters and what have you, has been reducing, I think, by more than 50% over the past 10 years or thereabout. So the market is changing, and different initiatives are being brought in that will assist in that form. Even some of the our development partners, like the World Bank and others, also have programs through REA and others, whereby systems are being deployed, and then basically, if you look at it, free of charge, because no cost is required from the community, especially communities that are not being served. So these are some of the programs that are available within that ecosystem.
Okay, let's talk about government interventions, especially talking about this cost now. Let's look on the government intervention angle. What are they doing to encourage Nigerians to embrace renewable energy? Because I've heard something about the energy transition plan. Is it one of such initiatives, engineer?
Yeah, energy transition plan is one of such initiatives by the federal government to encourage people to embrace renewable energy. You have other, like Nigerian renewable energy and energy efficiency policies also by the federal government. This is another policy from the federal government also to encourage people to embrace renewable energy and energy efficiency. So there are a lot of such programs, and government is getting support from development partners like the World Bank and also African Development Bank and other development partners in assisting the government to meet its objective.
Thanks for that insightful contribution this evening. You're listening to Electricity Town Hall on the network service of Radio Nigeria, a program being sponsored by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC. We'll take a short break, and when we return, there's more to be uncovered when it comes to renewable energy, and we'll be talking about solar panels and also community and state taking charge of some of these interventions. Don't go anywhere, stay with us.
This is Electricity Town Hall on the network service of Radio Nigeria. We will be back shortly.
The Electricity Act of 2023 don't give Nigerians power to embrace renewable energy like solar, wind, hydro and biomass to improve how people they get lights. These solutions, they help to cover places where no they connected to the national grid. Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, they promote local skill for renewable energy technologies with regulatory arrangements where they push investment and innovation. The new Renewable Energy Certificate, REC, will allow people buy, sell, trade or exchange clean energy credits so that market participation go increase. Abeg, hug renewable energy to secure future generations, reduce environmental wahala, improve energy security, create more jobs, and reduce pollution. To sabi more about renewable energy drive, visit www.nerc.gov.ng. NERC, make light continue to shine.
We are back with Electricity Town Hall on the network service of Radio Nigeria.
Thanks for staying with us. It's still Electricity Town Hall on the network service of Radio Nigeria, and we're discussing renewable energy in the Nigerian electricity supply industry, NERC. And we're taking a look at the current status of renewable energy integration in NERC, contributions of renewable energy to power generation capacity. And I've been speaking with a Deputy Manager, Technical Regulation Division of NERC, Engineer Mohammed Usman Garba. Once again, thanks for coming on the program tonight.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Also with me is a Senior Manager, Technical Regulation Division of the Commission, Dr. Najashi Barau-Gafai. Thank you once again for coming on the program tonight.
Thank you very much.
Okay, taking off from where we stopped before we took a break. It's not just about individual solar panels, but also about communities and states taking charge. For our listener who is inspired, what is the simple step they can take towards using renewable energy? Doctor.
Okay, thank you very much. I think this is a very important question because it strikes at the heart of the transition. When we say transition, we are trying to move from one point gradually to another. So it can just start by simply, for example, your lamp in the night, changing it from the normal one that uses kerosene to a solar-powered lamp. Even, for example, the radio station we're in now, instead of using a radio that utilizes batteries or whatever to listen to us, yes, you can try to go totally green and to help the environment. And so it has to start with simple steps. Then you can, for example, in your house, you don't need to say, okay, you want to convert everything at a go. So you can do it incrementally by maybe based on your, of course, what your capacity and what you can afford.
Okay, let's talk about safety when it comes to renewable energy now and bringing it into solar. Sometimes because people just have the panels within their houses and they're generating it, they feel it's not as potent. The electricity in it, some people feel it's not as potent as the one generated by Gencos, TCN, and then the distribution companies. How true is this, engineer?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. When you talk of the safety aspect of it, the electricity generated from the panel is DC, is direct current. And we all know that direct current is even more dangerous than the alternating current. So it's not true for somebody to say the power coming from the panels is not as dangerous as that is coming from the alternating current, that's from the mains. It's just that what is coming from the panel, if it is from solar home system, it's expected that maybe the voltage is low. That is just it. Then after the solar panel, it's been converted by the inverter to AC, and the conversion is converted to 220 volt AC, which is the same voltage that is coming from the mains, that's from the distribution companies. So whatever safety measures you are going to take on the mains, you have to apply the same safety measures on solar home systems.
So Nigerians, you hear now, if you think the voltage within a solar panel or alternative energy is not as potent, it is as potent. You've heard it from the engineer himself. Before we move into sustainability, the operators within this particular sector, the regulations jurisdiction, does it cover the installers, talking about certifying them, regulating them, and making sure they comply to some of the safety standards within this particular sector? Because it's still electricity we're talking about, Doctor.
Yeah, they do. We have different categories of certifications from meter installers to even what do you call it, solar panel. This thing. Those were the solar installation. Those are issued by NEMSA, Nigerian Electricity Management Agency. So yeah, all these things are covered, and those are one of the few things that the compliance staff normally check once they go out for some of these compliance visits, to ensure that, like I said, safety comes first. Without safety, even the electricity might not be able to get the services that we require, because we have to use it safely. So yes, it is covered.
Okay, so we move to sustainability and transition as we wrap up. We just moved away from the rainy season, and solar panels are highly dependent on sunlight. So we've had these issues of when there's rain for 2-3 days, the power supply is low. What are some of the things, when you say technology is advancing, what are some of the things that you feel can be done in the future to cover some of these gaps and lapses?
Okay, your question, if you talk about the sustainability, it's more even important if we are talking about grid connected, that's large scale solar systems, because these solar power plants or wind, they are intermittent. It's something that we've already mentioned. So it's very, very possible that you can have 500 megawatt or 1000 megawatt coming from solar. Now within 2 hours it will go to zero.
Exactly.
It's very, very possible. So because of the weather and also time, once it's night it goes to zero. Once the weather changes, maybe you have cloud, you have rainfall, it drops. So there is energy storage systems like the battery, which is applicable both in solar home systems and grid connected solar plants. So with this battery energy storage, you have different energy storage system, but the one we're talking about now is battery energy storage system, which is more common. You have it as a backup. Once the supply from the solar goes down, you have already, when the solar is there, you are using it to supply your equipment as well as charging your battery system. Then once the supply goes down, then you can start taking from the battery. So these are some of the things that are on ground in terms of technology. Yeah.
Okay, Doctor, you want to add something?
Yes, thank you very much. Just to add a small analogy, basically, so that everybody will understand what we're saying. Imagine your house. I'm sure you have a tank for water. So you fill it up, probably water board or your pumping machine to rest, whatever. The water board can decide to take the water and you are left without no water, or the pump cannot be running 24 hours. So that storage, you use it when there is no supply from either the borehole or water board. So it's the same with electricity. The batteries are going to complement this supply that we are getting directly from the sun, because it's intermittent. Intermittent means it is here. You can get it now. In the next 2 minutes, it's no more there. It's gone. So we have to imbibe this culture of storing electricity, and that is being achieved through, like he said, the BESS and other forms that are not yet available in this country. So
okay, as a wrap-up, gentlemen, there's a question on the lips of most Nigerians, especially when the tax regime now, trying to make sure that, and we have what we call the energy tax, and we're talking about solar here and sunlight. If I invest my money in solar systems for my house, what charges or tax would I be expected to pay? Any charge or tax, maybe sunlight tax or solar tax going forward?
Okay, this is a very interesting question. So you are not going to pay any. That's just the simple answer. The government is trying to promote this, so there is no tax on solar power systems at home, only for commercial uses, and it's up to a certain capacity, 1 megawatt. Anything above 1 megawatt, there are some regulatory charges and things like that. But for your home, and I don't think you can use 1 megawatt in your house, so that is not possible.
Okay, on a minute, if you use above that, you'll be taxed.
Yeah, for that you need to come for some licensing and permits and things like that,
and possibly tax somehow.
Not
okay,
tax.
not tax.
Not tax,
okay,
really,
because
not tax.
Okay, engineer, you want to have something?
Okay, yeah. There is what the commission is doing.
Okay.
To even promote deployment of solar home systems. That's the net billing regulation that is coming on. In net billing, you have solar panels, you consume, the excess, you send it to the grid, and you earn credit for that.
Okay.
So once you earn credit, for example, in the night, when the solar is not there, when the sunlight is not there, you can start consuming from the grid.
The batteries, okay.
Yes, no, from
Okay,
the grid.
from the grid, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
because depending on what the grid, what the credit you have available. So that's to encourage people to even install more solar panels so that they will generate more and send to the grid and earn credit. So that's where net billing is come from. Net metering.
Okay.
Yeah, where you have a meter that will take care of maybe to meter your consumption as well as what you are taking from the grid.
Oh.
Yes, so that's a way of encouraging people to even have the solars to support the grid as well as to earn
To
credit.
also benefit from the grid.
Yeah,
Interesting
yeah.
conversation.
The commission is working on that. Actually, stakeholders engagement, the stakeholders engagement has been done already.
Okay.
And we're hoping the bill will soon be out.
Oh, interesting conversation tonight. That's a great work the commission is doing, because when we talked about the tax, we're already imagining when for the normal electricity at the moment, because people are paying, whenever there's the grids are down or there's power line collapse and all, they come out, the authorities come out to address and say they're working on this. We're now wondering if it's the solar. Is someone coming to tell us that they're working on the sun or something? Should the weather not be good for a few days? But hopefully that won't be happening. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your insightful contribution this evening. And this is where we end today's edition of Electricity Town Hall on the network service of Radio Nigeria. I've been speaking with the Deputy Manager, Technical Regulation Division of NERC, Engineer Mohammed Usman Garba. Thank you so much for joining us on this show tonight.
Thank you very much.
Also, we had a Senior Manager, Technical Regulation Division of the Commission, Dr. Najashi Barao-Gafai. Thank you both for your insightful contributions this evening.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
All right, appreciation to the production team, Studio Manager Phineas Udoyo, Facilitator Conrad Labe, Producer Sunday Goche. Special thanks to our Executive Producer Msushima Key. I'm David Umur. See you next Monday for another interesting edition of Electricity Town Hall.